So lately, it's been super popular just to shit on Paraguay, which is really confusing to me. It just shows that you don't know how to travel.
Super unfriendly, to be honest. I can't wait to leave the country.
Now I understand why most travelers skip this country.
Paraguay kinda sucks. I'm sorry, I'm just being honest.
Cry me a river, face.
Let's be honest. You didn't visit Paraguay. You visited the Asuncion airport.
Even the food wasn't that great too.
What?
This might be the best meat I've ever eaten in my life. It's so good. The point of going to a country you know nothing about is for you to explore new things and find things that stand out to you. If you don't find anything interesting, that's on you. So I've actually lived in Paraguay, more than just Asuncion, for like 3 or 4 months. I'm gonna show you what a week or 2 looks like living here in Paraguay.
I don't see how you can hate from outside of the club. You can't even get in. Leg out.
I left Austin, Texas 112 weeks ago on my motorcycle. I'm attempting to break the Guinness World Record for the longest motorcycle ride ever. I'm trying to ride 1 million kilometers around the world on my motorcycle. So far, I've ridden through the Amazon rainforest. Supposedly there are jaguars. I've been stung by Chaco bees, and I've been assaulted. If this sounds interesting to you and you want to follow along, I post a new video every week. I don't have a support van, I don't have editors.
It's just me, myself, and
I make these videos myself, so if you don't like my editing, go for yourself. So there's actually a tornado coming from Encarnacion.
For personal safety, it's better to stay.
I've got like 200 kilometers to go. Right now I'm in the capital of Paraguay, Asuncion, Paraguay. So there's tornado coming in 2 hours. Pretty obvious, my goal is to make it to Campo Nueve before the tornado does. Campo Nueve is this very safe city full of Mennonites. Mennonites are really cool people. They've got this really bougie hotel. It's like 20 bucks. Well, I made it. It feels so nice to sit down. I'm pretty tired. I'm excited to take a shower, shave my head, clean up my beard. In Paraguay, tourists pay 0 sales tax. And because of that, you get these cities that pop up near the border of Paraguay, right next to Brazil, that are essentially Brazilian cities. Most of the population are tourists from Brazil who come into the cities, buy their electronics, and then exit Paraguay.
This area of Alto Paraná, the state, some parts of Itapúa, they talk Portuguese, mostly because they are Brazilian child of immigrants.
Macha y gozo. Many Paraguayans can speak at least 2 languages, if not 6. Como se dice fogo de chão?
Fogão de chão.
Portuguese has the most insane pronunciations.
TikTok.
Ketchup.
Bob Esponja.
Pew pew.
Xbox.
Xbox.
Paraguay actually is one of the least Spanish-speaking countries in South America.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
So apparently these countries don't exist. About a third of South America doesn't have Spanish as an official language. ¿Qué idioma prefieres?
El español.
El español?
El español.
You guys are the friendliest people by far, because I've noticed it's the easiest place to learn Spanish.
Yeah.
Paraguay does have Spanish as an official language, along with Guarani.
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 Sí, Guarani.
Guarani. Guarani.
Guarani.
Guarani.
¿Es Guarani más divertido a hablar?
Puedes decir grosería y nadie entiende.
What's really crazy about Guarani is a lot of the language is based on animal sounds or even onomatopoeia, which is like an 8-year-old's dream of a language. It gets its name from these little corn balls. Vori Vori was actually my nickname in high school. Many Paraguanos can also speak Yopara. The word Yopara can mean mixture or blend in Guarani, and if you want to spell it the Guarani way, it's with a J instead of a Y. This is a sliding scale. Yopara can simply mean speaking mostly Spanish with a couple Guarani words sprinkled in.
Tampoco entiendo tanto guaraní.
And just to be clear, I'm not bullying these channels. If you're going to try and portray yourself as a travel expert, diversity, and share false information, you deserve to get called out. Vete. I plan to get a new cell phone. The back of my cell phone is cracked. I need new motorcycle gear. My phone was slipping out of this pocket. That was pretty scary because my phone is my main way of recording my GPX data. There are really only two cities in Paraguay that I don't like to go through. One is Asuncion, the other one is Ciudad del Este. The traffic is just dog shit. They're bad drivers. It's really congested there. So this dude rides into the back of me and he manages to get his motorcycle underneath my left foot. So I can't push off unless I want to shove his motorcycle into the ground. What makes things worse is there's still a lot of tension between Brazilians and Paraguay. I have some buddies in Salto, so I'm going to try and buy a new iPhone up there first. Marcos makes these dope shirts. He runs Iron Army, a motorcycle shirt company known throughout Paraguay. Hola, buenas, ¿cómo está?
Americano.
Norteamericano.
De América.
Hey, hola, ¿cómo está? 2020. No me gustan sus motos de Nacional. Salmo 23-4 es... Yeah. By the way, Paraguay has two different sides to its flag. Hey, buenas, ¿cómo está? Soy James. Sí, con gusto. These random place checkpoints are just kind of standard in Latin America. Paraguay, I've had really good experience. ¿Quieres estar en un video? Yeah. Soy James, ¿su nombre? Pablo, mucho gusto. He's sharing my channel with all the officers. I get fraud alerts maybe once a week. Anytime I enter a new country, Paraguay has this really weird system. You essentially drop off your phone before you enter the bank, and then you set your helmet down at the front glass door, and then the officer just watches it. To withdraw $300 from the ATM, it was $5. Flat rate. Pero eres blanco, italiano.
Descendente.
Okay. ¿Cómo se dice tu estación? ECOP? ECOP? ECOP. Soy James, ¿su nombre?
Juan.
Okay, so this is a cafe at a gas station. And I'll explain why. In Paraguay, there's a major Mennonite population.
Mennonites dedicate their life to God and reject every form of modern society.
You can't ever have a generalization of every Mennonite because they're so different, especially regarding technologies.
There's this really bad documentary online made by Best Documentary. Collectively, it has over 5 million views, and it just gets everything wrong.
We're with the Mennonites, Protestant Christians.
Some are old order Mennonites that you'd imagine how we stereotype Amish people, right? Or Hutterites, but there are also modern Mennonites. And do you guys have computers in Philadelphia?
No.
Okay. Who's the best at volleyball?
I will not say anything about that.
They portray the Mennonites of Chaco as if they're old order Mennonites, and it couldn't be further from the truth.
In the Chaco, there's 3 main colonies. There's Fahrenheim, there's Neuland, there's Menno.
They're not even in Chaco when they're filming these Mennonites, but there's red dirt here, and Chaco does not have red dirt. What's worse is I think a lot of YouTubers watched parts of this documentary and they just ran with it like it's gospel.
Not a lot of people live there, and not a lot of animals live there.
Hay muchos animales aquí?
Y hay bastante.
So I'm just in the supermarket, and guess what I found?
This area is not developed.
They live cut off from the world.
No tenemos también televisión, no tenemos también teléfono.
So a lot of these modern Mennonites are first adopters. They had their first laptop before my mom had her first laptop, and my mom was a 2nd grade teacher.
They marry only each other.
Some Mennonite groups, like the Beachy Mennonites in the United States, prefer their Mennonites to marry outside the church. I hear you guys hunt for your own food. They have voluntary governments. They're called co-ops. What that means, if for any reason you don't like your government, you can opt out.
The assumption is made that the government owns you.
Some experts are suggesting that the government should stop dumping all of our money into an enormous hole,
which makes the government or co-op really accountable to its people.
Healthcare in Menno Colony runs through a mutual fund where everybody contributes. If one person gets sick and he needs an expensive treatment, everybody pays for him.
They believe in modern medicine. Some of the best hospitals in Paraguay are in Chaco. At the same time, these Mennonite colonies are very entrepreneurial.
Everybody has at least one side hustle. Your pension is your responsibility.
They will help individuals get their companies set up inside the supermarkets that are also part of the co-ops.
The co-op participates and depends on a free market.
So if you go into a Paraguay store and you look at the milk or you look at yogurt, they are all Mennonite companies, all different colonies. Los Colonos, you've got Trebol, which have two words factory there, super cool factory. You've got Lactolano, which is, I believe that's Sommerfeld. Their hotels are also bougie. And this gas station is a chain in Paraguay, and it's really reputable, and it's one of the companies in the co-op of Loma Plata, Paraguay.
80 kilometers that separates him from Loma Plata.
No, I only know Loma Plata.
Only Loma Plata.
Yes.
This documentary literally has 2 towns in it. How do you get half the towns wrong?
Nobody's gonna notice that. People will notice that. I didn't notice it.
This area has never been referenced as Lomo de Plata to my knowledge. Loma Plata means Silver Hill.
So did they play horror music in your class?
No, never.
The only true thing about this documentary is there's a dude named Michelin. So I actually tracked down the star of this documentary, Michelin. He has 19 kids. Michelin would deliver goods along Route 15, which connects Loma Plata to the Brazil frontier.
Sí, le conozco a Michelle. Sí, y ese video editó y quiere conocerte. Va a venir acá.
Oh, en serio? Yeah. I like him quite a bit. So anyone who takes on these Chaco roads deserves to get a documentary made about them, especially when it's raining. I just wish Best Documentary gave a f about what they were making.
Loma Plata.
Michelin told me this documentary was filmed in 2016. It wasn't released until a couple years ago. That means they had 8 years to fact check themselves, and they just didn't. Mennonites, what are they? No other definition.
Someone who's very active at night.
The religion.
Oh man, it's gonna be up here in the video.
They're Christians, but what makes them special is essentially 3 things. Adult baptism.
People will not be encouraged to be baptized by 14 or 15 because it's very early. We want them to have some life experience.
They're pacifists, even when attacked.
We will not bear arms. Part of what we asked of every government where we migrated to, we wanted to be able to not send young people to the military. Counter offer was always, we will dedicate our efforts to developing this area, this territory where we are. Very typically, Mennonites settle down in difficult areas. In Paraguay, the Chaco was unpopulated, and with a reason.
Oh, I almost died here.
Yeah.
I took Picada 500 a few days after it rained. It's an iconic road here in Paraguay. My buddy broke his leg on it, so I've been a little intimidated to go on it, but today's the day. Google Maps says it'll take me about 5 hours. Should be a fun day. The first 100 kilometers are beautiful, beautiful solid roads. After that, after the first 100 kilometers, it does become a bit muddy, a bit messy. The road turned out to be closed. There were no signs. Locals had no knowledge of this. I was out in the desert for 8 hours and I ran out of water. And I got stranded between a giant flooded out road and the 8 hours that I had just ridden. Moment of truth. Do I have a water purifier in this bag? Fuck, it has alcohol. Wait, I can add that to this, add the alcohol to this. It'll purify a little bit, and then I can drink that. I need to calm down. I've got this guy, this water purifier. I think the purifier is dated a couple years, but it's better than nothing. Throw it through here. If you have one of these water filtration devices and you're nervous that the filter is too old to use, if you can drink out of it, you're alive. These filters are designed to clog themselves when they're no longer safe to use. I was able to flag down the construction crew of Horacio Cortez, who is the former president of Paraguay. He's also banned from the United States. Oh, I almost died here.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, and you're not the only one. So
we parked my motorcycle at Horacio Cortez's house, and after a few days of the roads drying out, I finished that of a road, Picada 500. And then the third thing is they're stewardess of the environment. So they believe in protecting the environment, taking care of the environment. You're only here for 30 more years.
30 years. What do I leave behind, right?
Where do you get all this water?
It's rainwater.
Rainwater.
Yeah.
You guys just collect it from the rooftops and it goes into one of these guys?
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, so these are dug. It's really deep. You usually have them locked so that kids don't fall in.
Thank goodness, yeah.
But I mean, usually they know.
When they separated from the Anabaptists as a whole, they were way ahead of their time in believing egalitarianism, like essentially everyone is equal. After majoring in theology, you want to study psychology.
Yes, psychology or music.
And if you look at the early abolitionist movement of the USA, a lot of them were Quakers and a lot of them were Mennonites. Pretty much any Mennonite you talk to, especially our generation, is going to be able to speak like 4 or 5 languages.
I think English is the best language. It's insane. English is the best language for flirting, for make compliments, for make deals. I think German is very hard.
English, Spanish, Low German.
German, the dialect of German, Spanish, Portuguese, and English. And I'm trying to learn Korean.
They're super impressive. Super Mario. Permiso. So Queen Anne does not have the Pro Max iPhone. Pro Max has a lot better battery, and with my GPS running, that's what I need. So I just bought 2 of these tables. They're $5 each. So these guys close in 30 minutes. This is the iPhone Pro 16. So this USB-C cable says exactly what the watt is that's coming out of it. I don't get it. Sí, entiendo.
¿Puedo pagar, por favor?
So I'm recording these prices on these cables because I want to look up the reviews on them. This dude comes up to me and I think he's telling me that store is closed, which I totally get it. My job in college, I worked as a bar bouncer, and part of that job is helping people leave the bar on time so the bar can lock up. So I started heading towards the exit. Only one problem, this dude follows me. So I start videoing it. Which, if you've ever worked as security guard or anything, you know that's not cool. If someone is trying to leave the area, you don't physically assault them. That's not cool. You're just creating problems at that point. And the head of security comes, talks to me, We exchange WhatsApps. He apologizes for what happens, and he assures me that it's not store policy for their associates to attack their customers. The first time I filmed a Kit Kat video. Second time, employees found out that I made videos and they wanted to be in one. And then the third time I got assaulted.
What would you say you do here?
I have people skills. I am good at dealing with people.
Who thought it'd be a good idea to hire this person to interact with other human beings? Anyway, I'm not buying from Shopping China. I buy my new iPhone from Shopping Roma, where the manager tells me they love having customers film in their stores. I buy the new iPhone 16 Pro Max for $1,120, which is about $200 less than I would pay for it in the United States. That is a pretty cool shirt. Y la abuelita. Gracias. These boots are absolutely sick, and they're only like $230, which they seem really athletic. I like the way I move in them. Yeah, probably gonna buy them. I just have to figure out how to pack all this stuff. It's a little sad getting rid of my old jacket and my old pants, but I absolutely have to make room in my motorcycle. If you're in Colombia and you see this brand ADT, you know you guys have a great brand. Got my boots packed up. Now I just have to make it out of this city. Salsicha?
Sí.
Salsicha. Sausage dog. So these guys are awesome. I shot Bino a text earlier, like yesterday, and told him that I needed new wheels, new oil. And I showed up here today, 2.5 hours before they're closing. And I'm like, hey, we can do it tomorrow. Don't worry, I'll leave my motorcycle here. Owner is like, no, don't worry. We know you're trying to break a Guinness World Record. We're gonna take care of you. We're gonna get all this done tonight. So what's cool about a lot of Latin America mechanics is their motorcycle shops are actually also attached to their house. So tonight we're gonna have some carne asada, which is grilled meat. I don't usually eat meat, but in Paraguay it's a little bit different. The majority of the population believes the animals should be treated right and kept in open spaces, and they think that directly affects the flavor of the beef. So I just followed the Bino out to his family farm. This place is nuts. I thought we were gonna eat at his house. We're not. We're gonna eat at his family farm, and this place is gorgeous. Gafios? Todo blanco pato? Albino? No. Señor Oveja. Oh my gosh. Oh my. Male?
Honey.
What is? Hey. ¿Este es fruto de conche? Dude, es un alien. Carne asada.
Ele tá fazendo isso aqui pro Guinness Book. 10 anos que eu salgo lá.
Esse tipo de sal. This might be the best meat I've ever eaten in my life. It's good. I don't know if that's insane for me to say because I've lived the past 10 years in Austin, Texas, but the flavor in the meat from Paraguay is just top notch. Que feo, permiso. This is super cool. Yeah. Qué buenísimo. So this dude just started honking and pointing at me. Oh,